4 graduates of Spokane Public Schools recently received full need scholarships from Whitworth University. Welcome to School Talk. I'm Taryn Roloff, and joining us today are Jeannette Potter, a Rogers grad, and Lesly Sub Cuc, a Ferris grad. Welcome to both of you, and congratulations on this incredible achievement. And our viewers probably don't really know what Act 6 Scholar means. So, Jeannette, I think you were going to start by kind of describing the process for getting that scholarship and what it exactly is.
Yeah, well, the application process, so there's 3 phases of the process, and the application is the first. And it's kind of a long, drawn-out process, but we had to write 3 essays for it, and just for them to get to know you. And then you're just writing about your extracurriculars, just like any other application. And then they'll look over those, and if you get accepted, then you'll move on to phase 2. And then phase 2 is just, in Spokane, you get into like the people who are chosen. It's just you guys, and you just kind of do some brainstorming together, just bounce off of each other, and just learn more about Act 6. So it's really low-key, really. And then if you get past that phase, then you go to the school that has chosen you.
And that would be either Whitworth or Gonzaga.
Yeah. And then you have like homework before you have to go. So it's a lot more challenging. And you do seminars, and you just compete with like the 20-something kids that are left. And so basically at the end of that, half of you will be chosen. And then you just wait for your letter until you get that acceptance. It's like a 4-month process. So.
And we had 4 students from our district get accepted to Whitworth, and of course 2 of you are with us today. Do some of the, were there students from other parts of the state that got accepted to Gonzaga this year?
Well, actually, Act 6, the beginning of it, they have been partnered with Whitworth University for 10 years now, so we're actually the 10th group to go in there. But it first started off just Spokane students, but recently became Seattle, Tacoma area as well. So half of, like, Act 6 sends off the students in groups between 8 and 10, I believe, and half of them come from Spokane, half of them come from the Tacoma, Seattle area. So, yeah, so it's a very long process to get into that.
Yeah. So there's half of us in Seattle, and then half of us in Spokane. So.
All right. And you said this is the 10th year for Act 6.
For Whitworth.
For Whitworth to be involved.
Yeah.
And Gonzaga became involved more recently, I
yes,
believe.
the group that will be going to Gonzaga will be the fourth
year
group.
Oh, okay.
Fourth group, yeah, so they haven't had any graduates.
No.
So.
And your sister was...
Yeah, she was chosen as an Act 6 2 years ago.
Okay, so she is still, is she at Whitworth or Gonzaga?
Yeah, she's still at Whitworth right now, pre-med, so going into her 3rd year.
Oh, that's great.
Yep.
So what does the scholarship mean then for henceforth? Because you don't just get it and
it's Act 6 is not a free ride like most of the people know it, like they think it is. Act 6 requires, they do a lot of training with you because they're trying to promote leaders that will make a change in either this community or their community somewhere in the world. And I guess that is why they have 3 phases for the recruiting, because they want to make sure that this is right for you, and if you are, you're really passionate about making a difference. So throughout the whole process, for the 4 years, we have to live on campus. And that in order for us to be involved with our community and see what changes we can make and what impact we can have. And we have meetings recently during the process of it, for 4 months, I believe. So when you have meetings every Wednesday, and throughout your whole 4 years of college, you have a meeting every month.
Wow.
So
you have to take an Act 6 class on it. So.
Oh, okay. So what do you want to change? What's your passion then?
Well, what I want to do is I'm going into elementary ed and special ed, and I've never gone back to where my mom was born in Seoul, South Korea. And so my plan is after I graduate, I really want to go back over there and teach kids English for a while, and then just see where that takes me, really. But my passion is to work with kids and people who are in need. So.
Lesly, you were born in Guatemala, you said.
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so what about you? Yeah.
Well, so my passion actually will be going into health science and Spanish double major. I'm hoping, because I lived in Guatemala, it's a third world country, and I've seen how kids suffer from malnutrition. And when I come here, you know, I see a lot of fast food restaurants. So I actually have a passion in following nutrition and helping with that, you know, essentially for the children as well. You know, that is my connection. That's what I want to do. So because, you know, I did see two extremes of, you know, the nutrition.
And you came here when you were 8, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I actually came here very young. I didn't know any English, so I had to learn. My parents pretty much put me in school, and that's how I learned. So.
All right. And what schools did you go to growing up?
Like high school?
Elementary and middle?
Oh, well, we moved a lot when I was younger,
Okay.
so I went to a lot of elementary schools.
All right.
But
Here in Spokane?
yeah, here in Spokane. So it was always in Washington.
Uh-huh.
And so 6th grade, I went to Woodridge Elementary out on Indian Trail. And so, but then I went to Salk for middle school.
All right.
And then Central Valley at first 9th grade. And then I came back and went to Rogers, and that's where I graduated
All
from.
right. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of schools.
Yeah. How about you, Leslie?
So I went to Sheridan for my elementary school, and I went to Chase for middle school, and of course, I recently graduated from Ferris High School. So yeah, I was pretty much set in stone. Like I didn't really move anywhere. They didn't want me. They didn't want me to move, you know, because it's hard, you know, especially not knowing any English and having to move so many schools in such a short period. It wasn't recommended. So yeah, and actually. It was in Sheridan when I first met my first teacher who taught me English. So, and now she's actually working at Ferris, so she's actually saw me graduate from Ferris High School. So it was interesting. And I mean, I'm really grateful for her. You know, I learned English in a year. So.
What's her name?
Luisa Orellana, she's an ELL teacher at Ferris High School. So she's currently still working with children, teaching them English. So.
And ELL stands for? English?
English language.
Learner.
I don't know. I used to know it at ESL, you know, English second language. So
I just
they
said that for
changed
our
it.
viewers. I wasn't trying to trick you, but I just want to make sure our viewers knew English language learner. Yeah.
Yeah, I used to know it at ESL.
So, and how about you? Do you have any favorite teachers or teachers that really helped you get to this point in your life?
Yeah, one this year. She was my comparative government teacher, Mrs. Lawson, and yeah, she was the biggest help for me this year. She was the perfect balance of a teacher for me, just a person who I could rely on, but who also challenged me and pushed me in her class. And so just being stressed your senior year and figuring out what you're going to do and just waiting, but she made me have confidence in what I can do and always reassured me. And so, and she was there for me to vent to and talk to when I needed someone. So she was definitely a big help.
Right. Now, the other students from Spokane Public Schools that receive these scholarships for Whitworth, one is Shanice Applewhite from North Central.
Yeah.
And remind me who the fourth one is.
Prakash.
Prakash, that's right.
Yeah,
and he's from Rogers.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So we'd invited them to be here today, but they weren't able to make it. So just, I guess, one more question kind of about your K-12 experience, because especially for you, getting an ACSIC scholarship with coming to this country with not even being able to speak the language, I mean, you must have just had worked really, really hard, for one thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, my parents have always pushed me, you know. I guess that's the main reason why I came to America, you know, because my parents always believed in education, and they're always pushing us, you know. And my dad has been a great influence on me, you know. He has always worked around me, you know. Even with the ACSICs, like Jeannette said, it was a really long process to go through, you know. It's like 4 months. Usually kids would just give up by that point, you know. But my dad, you know, he really pushed me, you know. He was encouraged, like he encouraged me no matter what. And even there was a deadline, he would like stay up with me until whatever time for me to, in order to finish it. So I mean, it's great, you know, especially me and my sister both getting the ACSIC scholar and going to Whitworth University. I mean, I'm pretty blessed to have that. So
that's great. So was there a pivotal moment in your schooling where you knew that you wanted to go on to higher ed, Jeannette?
Well, for me, my parents, they didn't push me in school. And because my mom only finished school up to 6th grade when she was back home. And so they just always told me, you know, if school's for me, then you can do it. But I found it as a challenge, as in for myself and for my family, just to show them that I could do it. And so I think it was just probably after 9th grade, because 9th grade is when you really kind of start getting the idea of college and really what you're like you're going to have to do with your life. And so it's growing up. And so I just pushed myself and knew that to do what I want to do, I have to, finish out school and go to college. So.
Do you have siblings as well?
Yes.
Older or younger?
Older and younger. I have 3 older sisters and 3 younger brothers.
Okay, will you be the first to go to college then, or?
No, my oldest sister Anna, she went to a college in Oregon, so I'll be the second. So yeah.
What a great role model for your little ones,
Yeah.
little siblings. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for being here. We are so proud of you at Spokane Public Schools, and
Thank you.
wish you the best. What do you have plans for after? Well, you've kind of already said you wanted to go into nutrition, and you've been working with children. So we'll look forward to hearing all kinds of great things about you.
Oh, you will. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Especially with Act 6, and we're hoping, to see more leaders coming in through. Speaking of, the application is now open for next year.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that a year has gone by, and they're selecting the next group.
Right,
So
right. That's right.
It's crazy.
All right. Well, thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us on this edition of School Talk.